It's Tuesday, time for mead. Hope everybody is having a great day. I'm Tom Connors. With me is Mr. Nick Weiser. How you doing?
Sir Tom of the Connors, I'm doing good. It's been a nice, swell Tuesday. And how are you, sir? And hail to the chat and to the mods.
I'm here. Let's just say that
You're
much.
here. Okay.
Script Doctor is here as well. How are you doing?
I'm doing quite well today. I'm glad to be here.
Well, we're always glad to have you. And Darius Munchausen is sending in a super sticker already with some popcorn. Appreciate that. We got let's see who else we got here. We got Tim Hayes, we got Deleted Scenes, aka Steven in the house, Kenneth LaRock, Wheeler's here. I see Donnie Pearson, Max Relax in the house. Thank you for being here. We got CC Karaoke. How you doing? Who else we got? We got I think Dash Attack I saw here. SXHBK and some other people coming over from MEAD Radio. Thank you so much for that. And yeah, so we're going to get rolling here today. We've got a member chat already from Darius Munchausen, who has been a member for 16 months at the minimum effort puppy level. Thank you for that. We appreciate that. We got a couple of news bits to talk about, and then we got Toxic Tuesday. Want to tell the kids what's going on for that today, Nick?
Oh, hell yeah. South Park, bigger, longer, and uncut. Basically, the closest thing you'll see to Toxic Tuesday doing a episode on a musical, per se. And wow, like watching it, rewatching it recently, it's just glorious. I can't wait to talk about it. It's gonna be a fun one tonight, and the 51st episode. So please come hang out and watch us talk about South Park. It's a great movie, and time has only done it favors, especially by way of the vulgarities.
Yes, I can't wait. And that's in how long from now?
2.5 hours.
2.5 hours. All right.
Yes,
We got Cosmic Squirrel, who's been here for 8 months at the minimum effort puppy level. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. Let's see here. What we got going on here? What about musicals in the background here?
No.
Are you? Never. I got you. Never mind. I hear what you're saying. Yeah, it will be our first musical on Toxic Tuesday, wouldn't it be? Well,
yes,
kids, to nobody's surprise, I don't think. There's a new Star Wars Padawan prequel novel that implies Obi-Wan is Obi. That's right. Thank you for that, neighbor with the loud-ass motorcycle. In the latest examples of Disney's almost fetishistic...
I almost wanted to do a South Park joke right then and there.
That'd get us boot us off of YouTube, though. Unfortunately. Anyway, Spencer writes, in the latest example of Disney's almost fetishistic desire to both retcon Star Wars continuity and lazily identity swap the numerous classic pop culture icons that have come under ownership in recent years, the upcoming prequel era novel Star Wars Padawan features a moment which implies Obi-Wan Kenobi is bisexual. So if you had your bets on gay, you lost.
So he's playing with the light side and the dark side.
Yeah.
Damn it, Beavis.
Don't they call those gray Jedi in some of the...
Oh, don't say that. They get all upset if you say that. Yeah. We've got written by YA fiction author Kirsten White, perhaps best known for her Paranormal C series. Star Wars Padawan is set during the early years of Obi-Wan training under Qui-Gon Jinn. What does that tell us about Qui-Gon? And finds the young Jedi running off with his master to undertake an official Jedi mission after growing restless with slower and more mindful parts of training. That doesn't sound like Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan Kenobi really wants to be a good Padawan, reads the synopsis of the novel provided by official Star Wars website. The best Padawan, but that's feeling more and more impossible with his new master, Qui-Gon Jinn. All of Obi-Wan's friends are off training to be real Jedi, getting mission experience while he's on Coruscant practicing his forms and sitting in silent contemplation. Ever since Qui-Gon's former master Dooku left the Order, it feels like Qui-Gon has been too busy trying to connect with the Force or arguing with the Jedi Council to properly train his Padawan. It continues. When Obi-Wan finally convinces Qui-Gon to take him on a mission to a remote planet once explored by an ancient Jedi, his master doesn't show up the morning they are to leave. So Obi-Wan impulsively takes off by himself. And joining us just a little late is Kalabi. How you doing, friend?
Hey there, man. Sorry about that. Apologize.
No worries.
Apologies.
No worries.
Hello,
We're just in the middle of Obi-Wan's discovery. The
I
synopsis
heard about
concludes, upon arriving on the mysterious lush planet, he encounters a group of teenagers with no adult supervision. Bow, chicka, wow, wow. And who all seem to have some connection to the Force. Free from the constraints of the Order, Obi-Wan joins them in their daring adventures, but the Padawan side of himself keeps questioning the teen's strange relationship to the Force and to the verdant planet around them, and what all of it might mean to his future. Obi-Wan will test the limits of his relationship to the Jedi and to the Force in this exciting yet soulful exploration of one of Star Wars' most enduring heroes. None of this sounds like Obi-Wan, Mike.
Is this some? I didn't hear about this. Is it what is it? An animated thing or a new
Nah,
show?
it's a book. Yeah,
Oh,
though Padawan is officially set to hit shelves on July 26th, copies of the book began to sprout up in public at least 4 days prior to its official release date. The novel in hand, eager readers soon discovered that the novel featured a scene which saw the future Jedi legend question his sexuality, considering the possibility that he is either bisexual and or asexual, someone who has little or no interest in sex after being hit on by a male.
Well, it's about time.
It's
Someone
about
did that.
time.
Star
It is
Wars
about
is
time,
officially
man.
saved.
Thank you, Star Wars. Because who
I
hasn't been
just-
thinking about that since 1977?
As shared by Twitter user Ewan Sabi, on July 22nd, the moment occurs during a rhetorical discussion on love and romance between Obi-Wan and one of the aforementioned teenagers, Casual.
No,
Taking it
casual.
back.
But
Casual, well.
they're totally basically saying this is a casual sexual encounter with that type of name.
Taken aback by the latter's warning that another of the teenagers is not romantically available, Obi-Wan informs Kasul, I can't form attachments like that anyway. Yeah. So
Finally, he's finally a great character.
Dude, I feel like I've finally been seen now after all these years since I was born in '87. I'm like I finally can connect now with Obi-Wan Kenobi now. Now I feel like the story matters to my
It's about
personal
time, man.
truth.
It's just great.
and then it just goes to transcribe the book here, it looks like. So yeah,
Coming soon.
It just sounds
to a
like a
clearance right
teen
near you.
romance book. It sounds like it was pre-written as a teen romance book, and then they just added Star Wars.
They just made him
lore to it.
look, they just made him Anakin. This is fucking Anakin's story.
Yes.
Oh my fucking god.
Wow.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan was never
Yeah.
impatient. Anakin was. And you never could tell if Qui-Gon, anything like, as far as I was concerned, none of Qui-Gon's teachings had a negative effect on Obi-Wan Kenobi. In fact, if anything, he prospered in spite of Qui-Gon's lackadaisy, hippie-ass nature kind of approach to being a Jedi. I mean, let's be
True.
real.
Yeah,
The way
true,
it's
I-
presented, at least in the prequels anyway. I mean,
They're not people, they're hippies.
come on, script. I mean, back me up here on this or tell me I'm wrong, because this does not sound like Obi-Wan Kenobi to begin with. Let's not even worry about the bisexual part of it.
Yeah, well, the impatience aspect, I don't know, because there's a line when Yoda's talking about how Luke's not ready, and Obi-Wan goes, was I any different when you taught me?
Yeah.
That's to imply that Luke is a lot more closer in attitude to Obi-Wan than he was at the time when he passed away as a young man, which might be a consistency between Luke, Anakin, and Obi-Wan. But I don't know with regards to the impatience aspect of it, because that seems to be pretty consistent with Obi-Wan throughout the prequels and the original trilogy, right? So yeah, it doesn't seem. I mean, here's the other biggest flaw with the Jedi in general, which is that it's like they laud meditation, and meditation is just sitting still, not doing anything, which seems counterintuitive to what a Jedi is. It's all about like false spirituality, when the Force is basically you communicate with the Force, you're active with it. It controls your actions, but also obeys your commands. There's a synchronicity to it, and I just personally I just don't like meditation myself. Personally, I think it's useless. I think it's a lie. I think it's just a form of mind manipulation. It's basically sleep. Pretending to be asleep, that's meditation. Just go to sleep, yeah, if you're tired. Otherwise, if you want to think about something, but meditate, that's superficial, and a big mistake to incorporate in the Jedi, in my opinion. And in this case here, the fact that Obi-Wan's being told, okay, yeah, you got to stay on the planet Coruscant while Qui-Gon goes off on adventures. I mean, I can understand a conflict there, because that'd actually be a good story to explore. It's like, how can Obi-Wan train if he is not left to experience the world? It's basically he's being sheltered, shielded, helicopter parented, and it's like, well, where's the value in that for learning? That has the potential for a good story. There's a Obi-Wan approach to it, a logical Obi-Wan approach to it, that you could have fun with there. But again, we're dealing with a young adult novelist who doesn't take into consideration those types of conflicts, and instead just decide to make him basically run away to a circus, essentially a Jedi circus, if you will.
Yeah.
And finagle for whatever reason. Like, even in the synopsis, there's no adversary, there's no antagonist, there's no conflict. It's just he's on a green planet with a bunch of Force sensitives.
Yeah,
like,
Nick.
What's the point? It's like,
Nick, what's your reaction to this?
It's so laughable. Just this whole like, oh my god, he's bi. This is just gonna change everything about his character. Like, it's just another cloud chasing headline that will not matter in a week, and then they're gonna replace with another character who will be some other sexual, that will be a new word in 2 weeks from now, whatever character that may be. This is the only way they get, almost one of the only ways they get headlines nowadays. It's so laughable to see. It's not like I'm done with Star Wars, but I will definitely not hold back at laughing at this stuff. I'm definitely a lot more apathetic towards this stuff. I can't even feel the anger anymore. I burn through it, and I laugh at how dumb and stupid this is. Like, and this book is going to collect us on the shelf. It will bet a lot of money on that, and there's going to keep burning money on shit that's just collecting dust. And it's going to be that way for a while until people just absolutely reject this garbage, like actually reject it.
Yeah. What's sad is it's not the worst art they got there. That art looks pretty good. I don't know if that's actual art from the book or not, but Klobby, what's your reaction to this? I know you came in kind of late, but
yeah, I just heard about it. Just again, same as everyone else. It's more High Republic crap like stuff that will not sell. It's been I see that Steph mentions it's been in the works for a while. Nothing surprising about it. I know no one's surprised or shocked by this kind of idiocy, but also no one's interested. No real Star Wars fan gives a crap about the books anymore, the books that they're writing anyway, and it's a shame because they used to be so good. But yeah, you see a headline that like this and you go, well, there you go. You can't report new Obi-Wan book about him as a Padawan. You can't promote it as how interesting and a cool idea it would be to see an adventure like that. You got to have this stuff. You got to throw stuff like this crap in there because it's going to get attention. And it's really the only way to get attention because they've ruined their brand so much as far as their books and comics and stuff that they've got to do something to get attention for it. But this won't do any good. And it's just going to, as Nick said, it'll, coming to a clearance rack near you.
Yeah, I mean, and here's honestly, I mean, I'm not trying to bash on the prequels, but here's an issue I had with Qui-Gon Jinn to begin with. We were never told about him prior to those movies. When Obi-Wan's teaching Luke, we're under the assumption that he is like the best Jedi left because he's the only one left, right? So to me, he's like the best of the best. And then he says after his death that, go check out this guy named Yoda in the Dagobah system. He taught me everything I know. And then we meet Yoda, and that motherfucker's even better than Obi-Wan.
Right.
So you're like, all right, cool. That makes sense. These two, that completely makes sense that these two would survive because they're the two best of the best of the best. Right.
Mhm.
So I've always seen them two as the top of the top, and Vader could have been, or Anakin could have been, had he continued down the proper path. And even if you watch the prequels, sure, the Jedi are wrong about almost every goddamn thing when it comes to Anakin, except for one fucking thing they're right about. The one fucking thing they're right about, I don't think Obi-Wan would have any question over. Because that's the one thing where he stands there and reminds Anakin that this is not something you're supposed to do. You cannot have attachment, and it causes these issues. And that was one part of that I felt that I think that George really understood, that being part of this Jedi Order and being able to love and care for everybody means you have to sacrifice that. It's almost like being a priest, right? It's that personal sacrifice you have to make yourself available to the entire galaxy and not just one person. It's the same kind of thing that it's almost the same debate that Jor-El has with Clark, right? About you should never put one above the other in Superman 2, right? Like, I mean, and it is a good argument to have. It's like, should he? I mean, does he deserve it? Yes, he deserves it, but that creates that problem of his attention is going to be on her, not just on her, but he could compromise other people because of her, right? So there's a lot of that goes into that, and that's where the hero's sacrificial, thing with, like, a Spider-Man does it all the time too, with he can't have Mary Jane, or like that.
It always creates a problem for the heroes, but well, no, because of heroic fiction the way it is, they're going to do it anyway. But they're not part of a Jedi Order type thing either. They're just heroes making their own decisions.
Right, and that's the point I'm making, is that this is actually part of his quote unquote technical religion, really, if you look at it. But yeah.
Well, no, he uses the word religion in the first Star Wars. It is.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, well, it's true.
It's a conflict between the responsibilities of your duty with the powers you have versus the responsibilities of the family. Like, that's the thing, is like they're difficult to balance, almost impossible in some regards, because there'll be points where your family needs you at the same time that the rest of the galaxy needs you, and you're caught between a rock and a hard place, because if you let the galaxy fall, your family is hurt, but if you ignore your family, they're hurt anyways, but the galaxy doesn't fall, so now you're left in trying to reconcile with that. And it's very rare to find a partner that can be so understanding with regards to that responsibility. Because you can even hear stories with cops where their wives or spouses are saying, like, listen, no matter what, you come home every night. And the cop is like, sure, okay. And then your conflict's like, well, they're going to be put in situations that are dangerous where they might not come home. And what are they going to do? Are they going to do the right thing, or are they going to cower and run away? And obviously, with the responsibility they have, they should be doing the right thing, but not all of them do. And
they did make an exception in some, but during the EU, Ki-Adi-Mundi, who's a Jedi, had a family. Some Jedis were made exceptions for.
Well, and it didn't really seem like it was a thing until the prequels anyway. Because, I mean, the whole implication that Luke was Vader's son to begin with, or, well, Anakin's son to begin with, just kind of, almost, you kind of just figured that it was just a normal thing or whatever. Yeah. That they're more Protestant or whatever than they are.
Paul lady. What's up, buddy?
But I know, like, the one thing about Qui-Gon that I do like, and this is one thing I agree, Bass, to go back, and so I'm actually saying put something positive about the prequels, is you see a lot of Qui-Gon in Luke, right? Like, so you see a lot of that being passed down through, if you want to make that kind of comparison. But, like, other than that, like, I mean, this is just ridiculous. Who gives a fuck if Obi-Wan Kenobi is bisexual or not? Really?
That will be proven by the lack of sales of this crap. Only the idiot writer of this book and a few morons who greenlit it.
I mean, honestly, he's probably the most asexual character in the entire Star Wars universe outside of the Clone Wars bit where he has
but whatever. He did fall in love, didn't he?
Whoever, I can't remember her name, but I never really watched it, so yeah.
Just because a guy lives 20 years in the desert alone, he has to all of a sudden be asexual. I get it.
Well, I'm just saying, I mean, he didn't seem to have an issue being an incel.
You have Luke and Mara Jade. To be honest with you, the Jedi are always so wrong about stuff. Maybe they're wrong. I think a lot of the things they're wrong about by forcing Jedis not to have attachment. I'm not so sure it worked. I agree with it anyway, but
it's a good debate to have.
Jade, yeah, it is. But let's face it, if all heroes acted practically and did what you're talking about, never had any attachments, we wouldn't be reading any of their stories because it wouldn't be more drama, human-driven stories, even in fantasy setups.
No, because funnily enough, Superman is the only one who technically should have, the wherewithal to be able to make those decisions. And even there's time where they at least portray him of having those.
That was what was so stupid in the first Spider-Man film, when at the end of it, the Raimi one, where he basically gets what he wants, MJ, and then he has to shut her and that walks away and that kind of stuff. I'm like, he never did that in the comics. He always had all the stuff going on with women in the comics. The comics were it was Archie with superpowers.
Always Peter Parker never turned down a pass from a hot chick.
I like that movie.
Even at a funeral, in the most inappropriate time to do so, even at a funeral, he would not turn it down.
Not good. Yeah, that was not.
That's true. That's what a teenage boy does too. On top of it,
that's always been kind of the thing. I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, Claw, because I mean I've read a few Superman comics, but I don't know the different runs they've had. But I mean, I know more recently they've gotten into more of the romantic side of Lois and Clark. But in my
married, yeah, good.
I was gonna say, but in my memory of the class, like really old school, before we got the '78 Superman, which is where I say a lot of the romance was brought into the equation. Like before that, it always felt like Clark was trying to get Lois to go on a date and she wouldn't. Yes. But Superman was always turning her ass down, basically.
Pretty much. It really didn't start
until the Superman film.
The late 80s. Actually, even that didn't do it as much. It was there in a little bit.
I suppose then it'd be more Lois and Clark.
A lot of the stuff with Byrne Byrne kind of ushered in some of that stuff. And then, like you said, it started becoming a big thing. But even when Byrne left the book, and then you get the Lois and Clark show. And that's, and then eventually down the road, they actually get married. But so many of us lived with Superman as a character for 5-6 decades, or at least 4 or 5 decades, where it was a game of cat and mouse between his multiple identities, Clark and Lois, or Superman and Lois, in fact. And it was kind of all over the place until at some point they decided to make it a little bit more permanent. And eventually, of course, depending upon what you were watching or reading, they got married. And I've never been big into the whole him being married to Lois stuff and having a family. Personally, I don't really like it that much as a Superman fan, but I'm old.
Yeah, I mean, when them getting married to me is almost kind of like it takes away the whole will they, won't they romance kind of aspect
Same
of
with
it.
Spidey when he did. Yeah, it's just.
Well, Spider-Man's a little different. Like, I don't mind him being with MJ.
Like that much.
But
I hear you. Can't blame him.
I mean, there it's a little cooler because or not cooler, but I mean it's a little bit. It opens the story up a little bit more because he has that to juggle along with everything else, right? Like,
and he doesn't know how to juggle the stuff he has, anyways.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm saying. Smartest kids in the MCU, and he's an idiot all the time.
There are a few married couples in superhero, in comics,
Yep.
And there's some.
I thought the Spider-Man one
got married
better
for a time, didn't they?
Who? Sorry, script.
Green Arrow and Black Canary were married
at one point.
I think so. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well, they've always been together. I can't remember. I don't know if they actually tied the knot, but I'm sure it probably happened at some point when I wasn't looking.
But we don't talk about this shit that often because we don't give a fuck.
We don't ship that often.
That's the thing is, unless it affects the story somehow, we don't care.
Right. And it doesn't really work in an Obi-Wan story that much. I mean, you could have like that Clone Wars episode, for example, something like that, him having some kind of falling in love in a certain story and stuff. But do you really want to lumber any character, a character like a Jedi, with that kind of crap very often? I mean, yeah, the Luke, Mara, Jade stuff was good. The Han and Leia stuff is good, but not every single character has to have that.
Yeah. Yeah, and this, to me, bringing this into the story makes no sense. And on top of that, like I said, all this character aspects in this story make no sense because it doesn't sound like Obi-Wan. And I'm not saying he was born the way he was, but I mean, at the point where they're trying to portray his age, especially if this comes from the cover and being a teenager,
right?
He's already practically a fucking teenager in episode 1.
He should be more like Kirk and just, the occasional dalliance with.
So this to me is like just before that. So he's fairly already kind of developed in that sense to me. I don't understand why he would be that different.
Because virtue.
And not only that, these kids are we know like these kids are raised from when they're babies as
they're
Jedi
taken from their parents at a very young age.
Yeah, there's the story I want to hear about. How does that work out?
I mean, I think the parents they're not. Are they taken or are they offered?
No,
the parents,
that's my question.
The parents allow it, I'm sure. To be
Well, that's
honest,
the
they
thing
never
is, like,
explored it.
all we know
I
about
know
is what Qui-Gon says in episode 1 is they just say that if he was born closer to the
inner
to
rim.
court to the to
Right,
the inner parts,
we would have
they
known.
they would have figured out that he had powers and he would have been, but they don't really specify, right? Like, is it
Yeah. I don't
voluntarily
think they're
or
like
is
the
it?
Psi Corps from Babylon 5 or anything.
Yeah, that would be twisted.
Yeah.
Well, all this time we've been looking at the Jedi as the good guy. Maybe we're wrong.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, usually
Well,
when
I mean,
Professor
the argument
X-
was made that under the Empire, the galaxy was in order and balanced. I mean, the only type of upheaval was done by the rebels trying to,
This
win
is true.
freedom.
Yes. Bring order to the galaxy.
He did. I mean,
And
Anakin did exactly what he said he
among
was
Star
going
Wars
to do.
fans, I think more people like the Empire more than anything else. I mean, there's lots of people that dress up as stormtroopers than there are compared to Jedi that I've seen.
That's what I thought was funny in The Mandalorian when they had those one guys bitch and they're like, shit, at least when we were under the Empire, we had food. We had,
Yeah, that's there you go.
They didn't think that shit through when they did the sequels at all.
Oops. No.
Nope. They didn't think anything.
They weren't
That's
capable
the
of
thing.
thinking.
And I wonder if that was, and I know the whole Favreau thing, whatever, but I wonder if that wasn't kind of a crack on that whole thing. It's like, you didn't think this shit through, did you? You basically have set the Empire up to where they are a much better choice than the rebels because they can't get their shit together, right? Like, that's the problem. Is it should be an opposite. It should be a flip of power here. It should be more of a subversion, right? That's what I said from the start. The sequels should have been all about, Leia being the most powerful person in the galaxy and her being so fucking, distracted by that shit that she loses sight of her son going to the dark side. And that all this time there's been this like, dark forces that are like penetrating the new republic, right? Like that's what it should have been.
Well, all the different ideologies, the different cultures are all coming to a clash. They can't reunify under the old school of the Senate from the old Republic days because there's been too many decades where cultures have been destroyed or enslaved or what have you, and they don't trust another consolidated power. So you have all these factions in the galaxy trying to work independently, and you have Leia of the Old Guard saying, hey, maybe we should, restore the old Republic as it once was and get things back to how they were when we were kids. And they're all like, no, we kind of like this newer version now. No Empire, no Republic, just us doing our own thing. And then you've got a tug of war there. And they're doing it diplomatically. And then you have the dark side that takes advantage of those so-called dissenters and is able to flourish and then basically build up to sort of retake it all over again by force. But no, you can't have interesting analyses and allegory of consolidation and
no, they got to be ragtag republic. Like they're still they're still rebels after 30 fucking years. Script
So bad.
Yep.
still rebels.
Yeah, awful.
No, it should be more about how, absolute power corrupts absolutely, right? Like you have like all the people around Leia are compromised, and shit like that. And like you said, you have these different factions. That would be interesting, like you said, because that's just the thing. The rebellion probably wasn't big enough to take over the Senate and all that kind of shit, but there was enough people that were big enough that were a part of the rebellion that they're powerful enough that there would have been a change in power. And I agree with you, Script, that you would have had a lot of resistance of like, yeah, we've been under the arm of the Empire for all these years. What makes you think you're going to be able to do anything better than they did?
And then
Right,
their
like-
argument is like, well, it's the old Republic. I'm like, well, we weren't happy with the old Republic to begin with.
Exactly. Like that's what got us here in the first place. Like, and that's the great debate, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So like neither thing worked, and that's where I like how Luke it plays out in the original trilogy too, is because he is different from everything that came before, right? Like he is a new take on the Jedi. He's not as dogmatic and stuck in his old ways.
Yes.
And that's so it's a new order, a new vision, right? And they didn't do that. They just kept it in the same old schlock just so they could tell the same old story again. But speaking of old stuff not coming back, I guess the newest rumor is that the Knights of the Old Republic game has been put on hold.
Oh, the remake?
Yeah, I guess so.
Just remake Shadows of the Empire, and I'll
Just
be
do a
good.
graphic up convert.
Speaking of graphic up converts, did you
Yeah.
guys see this
Ooh.
guy who did the Simpsons hit and run game? He remastered it.
No,
No.
what?
He did a great
I love
fucking
that
job
game.
too. Let me see here. I'll bring it up here. I know this is
Oh.
kind of off topic, but like this is
No,
just a
no,
guy
this
or
is
a guy
huge.
and a couple of his friends did it on his own. I'll show you here. He even did 2D animation and everything for it. It's fucking awesome.
Dude.
We'll just show a little bit because I don't want to show his whole thing, but yeah, this is on El Gato del Tejado, if I'm saying that right. I know Paulie's gonna be like, you just fucking murdered that. Like, here's the intro done in 2D animation. And he remastered the game itself. Which all this stuff's cool, and he talks a little about the stuff he did to upgrade it. So I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. Talks about like some of the problems he ran into with like Lisa's hair, and then shows how they fixed that and stuff. I'm gonna jump a little bit, but like the cutscene stuff is really neat. They worked on. He tried to do it in 3D technology, but it just wasn't working out right. So he went and did it in 2D. And he learned how to draw them, just like Matt Groening used to teach the animators. So here's actual comparisons.
Whoa.
I know it's a cliche, but ay caramba!
Kodos, look at these.
I know it's a cliche, but ay caramba!
Kodos, look at these.
He even got the style down.
I know it's a cliche, but ay caramba!
Kodos, look at these.
Did a great job on it. But I guess this is a mod you can download for it.
So he just did a cool 2D to 3D rendering of it. That's awesome.
Well, he did a lot of. He
love
actually upgraded the game, but when he got to the cutscenes, he wanted to do him 3D animation like the original game was. But what it explains in that I fast forwarded through, he tried doing it, just didn't look right. So he actually went back and recreated them all in actual hand drawn animation through the computer.
Wow.
That's so cool.
By like he did it all
Seriously.
himself. I mean,
That's
he
awesome.
tried rotoscoping and that didn't work either at first. And he goes through the whole thing. It's like a 5-10 minute video or whatever where he goes through a bunch of shit. That's actually like the second part of it too. But yeah, it's pretty cool. This guy's doing it all by himself, I guess.
Oh, I am
That's
sold.
excellent.
I love that game.
Disney
when it
wouldn't
came
do
out.
that. They'd be like, fuck that. Why should we spend money on that? This guy's doing it for us. We should pay this guy.
You need to be making a slave wage with unrealistic deadlines.
Now you work for Marvel. Oh, and that's getting
man.
worse. That's heating up a little bit too. I don't know if you guys heard that.
No, do tell. I mean,
There's
that's
more people are talking about it out in I think one of the bigger papers wrote up on. I can't remember if it was Deadline or something like that. I saw did a write up on it. I don't think it was Deadline, but it was one of them guys. So
Something with
Right up
Marvel?
on what?
on the whole thing about the Reddit thread of the animators claiming that they're overworked and underpaid
Oh,
at
okay.
Marvel.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's getting a little bit more attention. Let's say.
Good.
I hope it gets all the attention because if we're talking about these unrealistic deadlines and you add the upcoming slate of 800 things that got announced, figuratively speaking, of course, and you're thinking, how are they gonna make a movie like a King Dynasty or Secret Wars? Granted, I'm not invested, but if I was invested still,
Mhm.
you gotta think to yourself, like objectively, and you hear these things that are coming out about all these practices going on, you're thinking, how are these things going to like be pulled off? If the project is looking dramatically worse in the last few years, how are those going to look by then? Like those big ensemble projects are going to have like all the cast members, all the effects for years. It's going to look even worse as time goes on, unless someone decides, hey, we got to shape up and have more realistic deadlines. Because I don't see this getting any better, even just from a visual perspective. Even if you take our opinions away outside of the movies.
Yeah, indeed. And I'll tell you, I got a bone to pick with Runner. You guys know Runner?
Runner.
No.
I didn't know.
I know
No.
of Runner.
Is that
You know of
I don't
Runner?
know.
Yeah, I do my show on Tuesday or Wednesdays with him at night.
Yeah,
Um,
with fanzines.
yep. That little fucker showed me this. So the last 2 days,
Wow.
I've been enjoying movies, but with raptors.
Oh my god.
Or just butt with raptors, it's called. And this is a rabbit
Very
hole
nice.
or a raptor hole. That
Oh
is
my
just one
goodness.
of many. And these things get more hilarious with each and every
good.
one.
You complete. Jesus.
I fucking love these. I'm sorry. I got so sucked into these fuckers. It's butt with raptors. It's a he's got all kinds of them. Got Marriage Story, West Side Story. This is another one. Singing in the Rain.
Singing in the Rain. Oh my god. That's fantastic.
Oh man, I didn't know I needed this.
I love this shit. This shit is just amazing. It reminds me of there's this other guy who's got like he photoshops Paddington into things until he forgets. Like I've been finding these things and I get down these rabbit holes. We got Elvis Raptor. We've got Three Men in a Raptor. This is my other favorite one right here. And then we'll stop for now.
You want answers? You can't handle the truth. You want answers? You can't handle the truth.
Oh shit.
Oh, that was amazing. I needed that. I mean, that and the Simpsons hit and run. I needed that. To
There wasn't
balance
much
out
for
the old
news,
buy
so I
one.
thought, you know. Although Paulie's sending me something here about Namor, it looks like. Maybe we'll have to have him hop in and tell us about it. But while I send him the link here, I'm going to go through these super chats we got. Let's see. Oh, I accidentally closed Twitter. And close that window. All right. All right, I'm sending you the link, Paulie, so you can come in and tell us what's going on. And then in the meantime, we got Toxic Man Flu, who says, yes, Obi-Wan is bi. This is true. That's what they're telling us now. Shotgun Fringe says, bisexual Kenobi. Sounds like grooming to me. Well, something. Member chat from Buttcrack Media for the last 3 months. He's been a member. Thank you so much. And Big Raj sends us in a super sticker. Let me see what it is. I bet you it's a thumbs up. Big Raj likes to stick that thumb up. We just don't know where. Yes, but you can hit that thumbs up and remind people that you enjoy the show. And share the link as well to let people know we're live. Because YouTube doesn't like to let people know we're live. But yeah, while we're waiting for Paulie to hop in here and tell us what's going on, is there anything else you guys have discovered? Anything you watched lately? Anything you want to discuss real quick?
I just started Primal Season 2.
Oh,
And
really?
oh boy, dude. Dude, just there's the first 2 episodes on HBO Max, of course, and it looks like this show is going to get very, very, very interesting. And it's still barbaric, of course, but I feel like this is definitely going to take into some ambitious realms, but still within the Genndy Tartakovsky like style. So it doesn't feel like it's going to take too far of a leap that we don't recognize it. But I like where Primal's headed so far, right off the bat with the first 2 episodes. So I'm optimistic about it. Ultimately, is what I'm getting at. So I'm good there on Primal. So hopefully we get more good cartoons and shows to come. Especially now we got Beavis and Butthead come out too. Like future cartoons is great.
All right. We had another super chat here. It looks like I missed. I got to find here from Dash Attack, I think it was. But Nikki D says Marvel is releasing 4 films and 4 shows next year. At what point do we reach peak saturation for this franchise? I don't think they're going to... It's just bad shit. If they put good stuff out, I don't think anybody would complain.
Yeah,
you
you're
couldn't
talking
get
about
enough of
one
it.
movie for every quarter of the year.
Yeah. I mean, if any of this shit was good, I don't think people would have a problem with it. They'd love it. They'd keep eating it up. They'd want more, right?
Yeah. The problem is it's not good because they don't want to. Marvel does not, and Disney, by and large, does not really want to spend the money required to get the best thing out there for the audiences.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, theoretically, in a perfect world, guys like Klobby and I, we should be eating this up. We should be like, yeah, we want more because then we can see all our weirder, more obscure, less known characters getting, adapted into a live format or even anime format. Like in a perfect world, we should be like frothing at the mouth about this, but instead we're just like, it's like I said on my Twitter a few days ago. It's just like it's the whole, hey, remember me? It's just like I'm past you, bro. I'm past you. They can't give me the carrot. I can't, and that sucks to say, but at the same time, it doesn't. If that makes any sense, but so it's like I should be looking forward to a Fantastic Four movie. Obviously, me and Klobby here have had many talks over our love of the Four, and yet here I am, just like I can't get myself to care. I can't get myself to care. Same with Daredevil Born Again. Like I'm a big Daredevil fan. I should be losing my mind about this. I should be bashing my head at the wall in excitement, like making holes in it, just because I'm so happy, or I should have been happy. It's just the ultimate feel nothing. It's kind of like the whole you're over your ex when you feel nothing. That's where I'm at with this.
Well, they lost the magic. They became complacent with their own level of, I wouldn't call it quality, but level of execution. That they're basically like the gold digger, who they were very hot enough to get married, and then they're slowly starting to let themselves go, forgetting the fact that the only reason they're in a relationship with the rich guy is because they were, worked hard to get to that point to seduce them. And now it's like, nope, I got you in my bed. I'm never going to leave you. You're never going to leave me, and I'm just going to never work again to satisfy you on the superficial things and on the depth side of things. Well, it was never there to begin with anyway, so you're stuck. And then that's the attitude they're kind of taking to this approach, it seems like.
Yeah. I mean, I've lost every bit of enthusiasm I had for them quite some time now, actually with the MCU/MCU, but I think I was still reviewing them and going to see them anyway. Even before all these announcements came out, I think I've gone to the theater for my last time to see any of their direct, and every one of these announcements it just leaves me cold. The FF thing is a joke because they should not be allowed to ever do anything. Fantastic Four, whatever they do is DOA to me. And all these other ones, the Wakanda thing, all of it. Daredevil Born Again clearly looks like it's a reboot. It's not going to be connected to the old Netflix show, which the first 2 seasons were brilliant. Third season, I had issues with, but that third season, by the way, used a lot of Born Again. So I don't know what they're going to do. That proves that this doesn't care about that, or this is going to be nothing to do with that. It was even, if you look close at that, him in that.
Well, they've never been real secret that it is going to be like a 25% different Daredevil, and
I don't know. Have they said that?
Yeah, kind of.
Yes,
I mean,
they
kind of implied that because in fact, when they bought the rights out Netflix out of the rights for those shows, that took everybody by surprise.
Yeah, they were set up for seasons 4 and 5 of Daredevil. I remember
well, there
talks
you
of
go,
that
then.
back when season 2 was announced.
Good.
But when
Let's
they
leave it-
when they got the rights back, they were just going to let them sit over there because they were going to try and play like, oh, it's a different,
yeah, it's
thing,
gonna be
even though we're
bad.
bringing back some of the actors. But I don't know what place they're at
I love
now.
Charlie Cox, but I think those people ought to be ashamed of themselves not casting an actual blind man to play Daredevil. How regressive, how ableist is that?
Yeah,
You know,
totally
just
on board.
Like Strange Nude Worms did cast a blind dude to play a blind character. I think that's what you're supposed to do now, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Damn you, Paulie. I had to go back and look for that motherfucker, and he's in the back room, and he's staying in the back room now until I get that super chat.
No,
Because I had to go back and get it, and he just took it off the fucking screen.
You gave him the power.
Now I gotta go back and get it again. Oh, Paulie. Now you're gonna sit in the back and wait. No, you're gonna sit in the back and wait.
Yes.
Damn it.
Yeah, I forgot I was still logged in.
Okay,
Sorry.
Dash Attack sent in $5 a long time ago, and I meant to get to this again. Sorry about that, Dash Attack. You can blame
Sorry,
Paulie
Dash.
that time. Aren't Jedi supposed to be asexual? Keyword supposed to be. Also, someone whose friend is bi. I am laughing at how condescending Disney is. Yeah, I mean, the whole asexual thing, I mean, I could see that coming up in a conversation if he's talking to somebody who's not a Jedi, right? If somebody's like getting fresh with him, like that's about the most it would go. But why would you even have that? In it has no bearing on a story.
Well, they may
Really?
swear. They may swear not to indulge in such things, but I mean, they have. I'm sure most of them have.
I'm sure,
sexuality.
At that point, I mean, but no, I mean, as far as Obi-Wan goes, honestly, I could see him being like one of the more pious of the bunch, right? Like that's my point. Like okay, fine, asexual, I can buy that, right? Whatever. He doesn't give a shit. Like that makes sense to me.
Even if you can buy it,
Even though he did fall in love
this
with the
stuff
Clone
doesn't
Wars,
matter to Star Wars.
To me, Clone Wars is just ancillary extra bullshit, Clobby. I'll be honest with you.
I'm not saying it's good.
It's
or bad. I mean, I
homework
liked it,
to
was
me,
okay.
man.
There was some good. It was okay, but yeah, I mean, I liked some of it. But
I've heard good things about it, but no, I mean, at this point, whatever. I mean, I guess that's more canon than some of this
Actually,
other shit. So.
on that cartoon, the character of Anakin is better than he ever was in anything else.
Yeah, I've heard that, but I went and made the mistake of going and seeing the first couple episodes cobbled together in theaters.
Oh yeah, that wasn't. I saw that too at the theater and did not like it. And wouldn't watch the show after that for a while.
You were the other guy in the theater. I thought that
I
you looked
thought that was
familiar.
good. I said, "Hey, I'll see you in about 20 years."
I was like, what the fuck? I was like, me and some other guy were like, we just gave each other a nod because we were like the two losers watching this fucking Star Wars cartoon.
I
We're
brought
like,
my
oh
kids
God.
I brought my kids and my nephews. There was
No, it was just me and this other guy in the theater, and we literally were like sitting complete adjacent from each other, like farthest from each other in the theater we could.
And I walked out saying, "What the hell was that?" And
It almost
saying,
made
why,
it more gay.
Why would it? My biggest thing I walked away with as a Star Wars geek, going, "Why would Anakin get a Padawan?"
Oh
The
God.
hell?
I wanted
that
to
was
walk
stupid.
out in the middle of it.
I never
But
liked
I'm like,
the
it's
stuff
not that long, so I was like, whatever.
in the middle. Wow.
Well, when they got to the whole like just the whole thing with like her, like Ahsoka, I've never
I can't
liked
stand her.
Ahsoka because of that.
Same here.
Like that whole thing, the snips and all that shit just drove me nuts. I'm like, what the fuck is this? So anyway, Paulie, you sent me some deal here. What the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
You got Taps the Sign.
Yeah. I think this. I just sent it to you only because it's like, I think it's more of that, Reva racism tweets or whatever, and it's like you're putting it up, but there hasn't been any I'm looking through all your shit. I don't see anything. I don't see any racist comments, and
No space for racism.
if they, I don't even know why this dude. I guess he runs a fandom thing, and I'm just like, I asked him, well, what's this about? Because
I don't think anybody's really said shit about his race outside of like you talking about the whole like
so what
historical aspect. But
Even
I
if
mean, I'm
they
not saying
do.
that's not in a negativity way. It's like you're just talking about.
But even if they do, man, who gives a shit?
We've been talking
like it
more
or
about
don't.
him being gay.
Yeah, because you're gay.
I'm not the one who looks like I just stepped out of a motherfucking gay club. I'm sorry, Namor does.
In that movie, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. He
Oh.
just needs some fucking glow sticks and motherfucker be all.
That would actually help. I would actually appreciate that much more. Like,
Oh
all
my
right,
God.
hey, at least he's committed to the nightclub look. I would
Guys,
actually
the
give him
feathers on
points
his
for
wings like rainbow colors.
that.
Feather.
Now I'm
don't-
in.
Hey,
Now I'm
hey,
in.
I put a video out yesterday. It's like at least they're letting him still calling him King Namor. Fuck.
No, that's cool.
Oh,
I
okay,
hope
alright.
I hope he's great. I mean,
No. But I'm like, why is
I've
this-
always liked Namor more than Aquaman. That's for sure.
I just think when you put this shit up, you're just asking for trouble. I just think
No
it's
space. For
I
race.
think you're right. I think he's willing it into existence.
yeah, it's like okay, you're like, thank you for allowing this space to be safe.
Namor fandom. Since when is there a Namor fandom?
Yeah,
If it is, it's incredibly niche. I mean,
Hey,
I know a couple
look.
things about Namor, like he had to kill his wife because she turned into a giant sea monster.
They got him in the late '60s, early '70s, short-lived black costume there for some reason.
well, the guy posts some pretty prolific stuff. It made me think of you, Klobby. But I'm like, all right, and then you just put this shit up. It's like, don't stir the pot when there's been good conversations of people not liking it, and that's good. It's healthy, man. You want everyone to be fucking agreeing. Who gives a shit?
No, that's what I was saying. As far as like the only negativity I've heard towards Namor has just been like goofing on him for looking like he just stepped out of a gay club. But other than that, I mean, he still looks good. I'm not going to say
about race is what I'm asking. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't hear anybody talk about the race part on that part.
Well, I just wanted to bring it up. It's like, oh god,
I think they're trying to distract from using Chadwick Boseman's fucking Twitter to promote the goddamn movie.
This guy is creating clout to have people to be mad so they can just keep the race argument going.
Notice there's no comments on it either. Just 36 likes.
I'm the
and
one who
retweets.
commented.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
just
you're the
your
one who
comment is
commented.
it. That's what I'm saying. You're the only comment on the whole thing.
And then I go back to one where there's a lot of comments, and they
Yeah.
all fucking love it.
So what the
Like,
fuck?
even in
Okay,
Spanish, I'm
here's
like,
another thing.
Yeah.
The whole Namor fandom. Most of these people, they're not going to admit it. Most of these people became overnight fans because they read a Google biography and said, "I'm a Namor fan." Did they actually read most of these books involving him with Reed and Sue Richards or the Black Panther? No. So please, miss me with that fake fan.
And Namor's a jerk most of the time too. So
Namor is an absolute. He's a douchetarian. He's a tough son of a bitch.
Jackass.
But he is jackass personified.
Yeah.
Which is why what's good about it. I mean, so he'll
Yeah,
be a
right.
jerk.
That's why we appreciate it.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
this
if you
whole
wanna- you
Namor
wanna
fan
talk about-
saying like it was a non-existent cause.
no, and that's why I sent it to. I didn't, think you would want me to come on. I was just sending it to you, Tom, because I'm like, this is
Well,
bullshit.
get the fuck out of here then. Jesus.
Yeah. Well,
Bye. All right,
wow,
bye.
Tom.
Nah, I didn't know what the hell it was, so I figured you better explain it to me because I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking like, oh, they're gonna go around, maybe give it 2 days, and the Wokoso fucking media is gonna be like,
Right.
toxic fandom hates Hispanics.
Well,
What?
does anybody have the thing on their
True.
YouTube where they can actually see the upvotes and downvotes? I don't have that.
I don't
shit.
have that either.
If somebody does, let me know where the Wakanda trailer's at right now. Maybe that's a reason for it.
Oh, really?
No, I got a hunch that
Do
if
you
that
think
thing's
that
getting
they're-
ratioed. Sorry,
Do
go
you think
ahead,
that
Chris.
after this Wakanda thing, they're going to be setting up the Avengers Island that they had for that short time in the late 80s?
Oh,
Epstein Island?
I doubt.
No, the Avengers.
Jesus.
I don't think that would be the even okay.
I doubt-
Let's just pretend that Namor, I don't think Namor is the reason for any potential downvotes. I know a lot of people who are genuinely who are still very, I guess you could say, invested in the MCU. They are mad that Chadwick Boseman's character did not get
That's
recasted.
what I'm wondering. That's what I'm saying. Is this might be a distraction? That's exactly what I was just saying, Nick. Is this might be a distraction? Sorry, you were saying something, Klobby?
I was gonna say, like Nick said, it's gonna be what's her face? Shuri, his sister's gonna be
Shuri.
Black Panther. So
Yeah. Well, and I heard a rumor that they actually do have CGI Chadwick Boseman in this movie.
Yeah, I
I
heard that.
think that's even worse.
just
That
to
is
show
insult to injury.
how he dies or something. I mean, because
Well, here's my hunch.
T'Challa's gonna be dead.
Here's my hunch, Clobby. There's that shot that we get at the very end of the trailer where we see Black Panther show his claws. Well, if you pause it enough or you look deep enough into the background, you can see Namor back down there, like taking like a hero pose, like he just fell or like whatever. I have a feeling that in the beginning of the movie, he's going to start with those two fighting, and Namor's either going to kill him for some reason that he's been lied to about, and or it's going to look like Namor killed him, and really it's going to be like Victoria Von Doom behind it.
Right, it'll be some max. It'll be some like
and that sets up this whole war with those two going at each other.
Fight.
Exactly.
They don't see the whole fight like from their purview. Yeah.
No.
I just hope it's a kick-ass fight. I don't need to.
And I think that's going to set up Atlanteans fighting the Wakandans and whatever.
Well,
and that's
there's so many problems with this. Mexican Iron Man brings up a good point. Is like, what are they going to have? Africans. Basically, you're going to make it a race war. What the fuck's going on?
I guess. Well, first of all, as far as the fight's
concerned,
Namor
concerned with that.
Namor slugged it out with the Hulk and the thing and people like that. How is Black Panther going to go toe to toe with him?
Ooh, that's why right there.
Look at that.
That is why right there. This thing is on the precipice of getting fucking ratio. That's why.
And I'm glad he brought this up because the Wokoso media, it was yesterday morning or I don't know what, most views ever, 100 and something million.
That's not good for the thumbs down.
And I looked at all the total views. I'm like, it's not that, dude. They don't got that many.
I mean, it's not ratioed yet. Don't get me wrong. 1.1 compared to 97K is still a ways to go, but 97K downvotes on that is not good.
That's like almost 10%.
Yeah, that's like 10%. Average, you want it around 3. 3 to 5 at the most.
Yeah. Well, one of the reasons why, Paulie, that it probably won't look like Latinos versus Africans is because it looks like what I've seen from trailers is the Atlanteans are still blue like they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Some of them are blue, right? Yeah.
I don't know.
Or most of them except for Namor.
Except for Namor, it shouldn't be. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
I'm just concerned because also too, you're kind of like hearing it. I'm hearing it from different communities, like you guys and your concerns from the comic book purists, which I respect.
I'm more mad that Namor's not getting his own movie first. That's my.
We don't know that he's probably going to get a movie.
Well, yeah, but not like
nobody ever does except for the big hitters.
No, that's what I'm saying. We got fucking Captain Marvel got a motherfucking movie already, but Namor don't have a movie.
Namor's I think Aquaman thwarted that, but I'm also hearing it from the Wokoso left as far as the Mesoamerican art experts and Mesoamerican studies people that I'm in those groups, and they're like, this looks like shit. It's a hodgepodge. And they're like, well, it is MCU. That's what Wakanda is. So they just have thrown their hands up at that. But I think it's always interesting when different circles are very concerned.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But Tom, the biggest reason you're not getting a Namor film is because the first thing that they're going to be accused of is, well, you're ripping off Aquaman. Well, even though he's a character that predates Aquaman.
Well, and that was the reason I say that it's an insult to the character he hasn't got a film yet, is because he was one of the very first.
He was before Aquaman by a little bit, but the point is, Joe Public doesn't know that. All they know is Aquaman is a $1 billion movie. And if Marvel comes out with their King of Atlantis movie, they're going to get it. This just won't. I don't think it'll work.
That actually goes against MCU's MO, though. Normally, they come right back at him. But I think the reason they didn't then is I don't know if they had the rights to Namor back yet. Because when Aquaman came out, I don't know if they did the Fox acquisition yet. Because I'm pretty sure Namor was sitting over at Fox or over at Sony, one of the two.
I thought that was Universal. That
was
Namor.
It Universal? One of them.
I thought it was Universal.
One of them, and they just got it back not too long ago. So I mean, it's been a couple of years, I think. But that's my thing.
Wasn't he the first mutant? Technically,
he was technically he's early. He's a timely character.
Yeah,
he's such an awesome character.
He was timely.
And I don't mean that. No, he was a timely comics. He's before it was Marvel.
Before it was really.
I mean, this just from I'm just going off the 2-minute teaser trailer. It's so female heavy, and then I went and saw Black Panther again yesterday. And I was like, yeah, there's a lot of females in this too. He's kind of like a sideshow.
About his sister.
That's why I hate the movie so much.
That's why I hate that movie, Polly, because I'm a big fan of T'Challa. He is a little nothing little
Well,
stooge in the whole movie.
They didn't need all those characters. What I loved was him and his cousin. I love Killmonger. I loved the cousin. I loved all that. It's like, show me more of that. I don't need to
Killmonger
see.
got treated better as a character than T'Challa does, though. Because what do we get? Like 1 or 2 action scenes with T'Challa, and the rest are his sisters. And let me tell you something. He's one of the smartest men in the Marvel universe. But in that movie, he's a dope, and his sister is the genius.
Yep, they made him
I
a
saw
better
that more
Rock.
yesterday when I resaw it. You're absolutely. I can't argue with that, man. And I didn't like it.
And it made me sad because I love him. And he was so cool in Civil War. I'm like, man, I can't
Yeah,
wait
he
to
was
see
awesome in Civil War.
so good.
And I
So
was a little
good.
sad too because I noticed his health. I didn't notice it before.
Oh, now you
But
know.
I noticed how he was
really?
skinnier in Black Panther than he was in Civil War.
yeah.
It bummed me out.
This is a guy that can hang with Reed Richards and Tony Stark and Hank Pym and all the smart guys in the Marvel universe. But in this movie, it was not. They took that away from him, and that makes me sick.
Waltman sent us $9.99. Said, "All right, so San Diego Comic-Con tweeted out talking about Filipino creators, but they use the term Filipinx. Why am I not surprised? And found it dumb since I'm half Filipino."
Can I speak?
Did
on
you
this?
talk about? I was just gonna say. I was gonna.
Yes.
Did you hear about this?
So what had happened was that in my coverage of and thank you, the Waltman, for. I saw a tweet from the SDCC, and they were just like, it was one run-on sentence, bro. One fucking run-on sentence. And they said Filipinx 3 times.
Wow.
3 times in the sentence.
Oh, God.
And I was just like, I either I retweeted, I don't know what I did, but I said, you didn't say Filipinx enough. And you spelled Latinx wrong. It's with an O or an A, right? And that thing got viral. For me, it went viral. And Filipinx is trending today.
Wow.
So fuck that.
But
did you guys
so
talk
they
about
think
that?
the Philippines is plural, like in the cultural. It's not. It's the Republic of Philippines.
No, it's just like Latinx, bro.
Yeah, they're trying.
Yeah,
to
but
turn it into
that
the
hits.
next one.
But Latin hits a number of other cultures within Latin, the community. And I understand the stupid logic to that, but it just doesn't make sense because it doesn't. It's not parallel.
They're Xing out the patriarch of it. That's what's going on.
That's not going to play well in the Philippines either. It doesn't play in Latin culture.
Well, look at that's why it's trending, because the Filipino community was losing their shit today. Fuck
they hang people in the Philippines for driving incorrectly. I mean, you think they're really going to stand by on a change of their culture from white people?
You have these, and it's a picture of all these talented Filipino, like it's a Filipino panel, right? Creators there, I don't know what. And to say that 3 times, it's like, that's all you got? You can talk about how great these people are? What the fuck, man?
Well, that's the sad part about it, Paul. For all we know, some of these people might have like actual genuine talent, but we don't get to feature that or showcase that. We just talk about what is attached to their body, their skin, and that's all they lead with. We're not talking about what are their capabilities, what story can they write,
It's kind of obvious what they
be,
right.
what kind of actor they could be. They don't talk about those things. And when you put that in people's heads, skin, people are going to get the preconceived notion right out the bat that this person is a diversity hire, and then they're going to see diversity hire, and then they're going to get the negative connotation of, well, I'm already turned off from this person. And for all you know, it ain't that person's fault because everyone else who promoted around said person decided to lead with skin versus said performer, actor, artist, whatever you want to call it. Like they just lead with that, and they don't have nothing else to fall back on. It's awful, and to me, it's the actual racism.
No, you're not wrong. I'm always like it's this. Yeah, this is. Most of the time it's ignorance, but these. Can I share this, Tom?
What is it? As long as it ain't nudity.
No, it's not. I wouldn't do that to you. So that's what they had put up, right? San Diego Comic-Con, the Filipinx Voices in Pop Culture was a fun and educational all Filipinx panel discussing Filipinx influences behind your favorite media. And I just I just what I said. I don't believe you said Filipinx enough times.
Like,
Oh, my
imagine
goodness.
this has got to be like exhausting just keeping up with these new terms. What feels like what almost every single week. Where does it stop?
I mean, what?
Well, it's like, and it says nothing to who these creators are. You're just like, okay, it was fun and educational, but Filipinx.
You know, instead of worrying
They're
about
trying
that,
to
maybe
put in
just
people's
educate
head.
people on the Filipino culture in general.
Paulie,
What's
I
that, bro?
just realized now. I mean, you're right. They should be showcasing the merits of their abilities, but the thing is, the whole Filipinx, when you repeat it 3 times, especially in such a public audience, they're trying to put that word in people's heads, so they're trying to normalize it into existence.
Bro,
I mean,
that's why I was snarky with them and said, I don't think you said it enough. Because it's the same shit they've been doing the last 10 years with Latinx, right? And a super majority of in the community are like, fuck that name. Don't fucking call me that. You know, and it's almost like you got to slap these motherfuckers. I'm so sorry. It's almost like you got to slap these people to put your point across. Cut that shit out. You know, cut it out. Cut it out with the by Obi-Wan. Cut it out. And scene.
All right. Well, thank you for bringing that to our attention, Paulie.
yeah.
And I don't know if you talked about that today on Midnight's Edge Espanol, but if not,
Little
I'm
bit.
assuming. Okay, I was gonna say if not, I'm sure it'll come up next week. If not, for sure, or maybe a video on that in the near future. I'm sure. But yeah, do check out Midnight's Edge Espanol.
Yeah,
You
we
have
have
it
a new
already.
video coming out tomorrow after Midnight's Edge.
Yeah. Covers all kinds of stuff aimed towards the Latin and Espanol speaking community, but you don't have to speak Spanish necessarily, as long as you just like it. These guys do multilingual podcasts, and so I've even had people message me and say that they're learning Spanish and it's helping them because you guys, you're speaking more. I don't know if the term would be colloquially or just mundanely instead of just like when you're being taught, it's so strict and dry, right? But when you really get to learn how people talk by listening to conversations, I think.
Well,
right?
And then you got a nice setup with myself, Diego, he's like the lukewarm water, and then you have the hot and insightful Pablo. It's always a good conversation.
Yeah.
Pablo was always armed and loaded for conversation. That's why I'm so happy to have him on my comic shop talk. That dude is an arsenal.
Oh, Pablo, good dude.
And on that note, Dash Attack says, watch Tress on Netflix. Really cool Filipino anime based off a graphic novel. Great horror action show with a likable female lead that isn't a Mary Sue.
I'm writing it down.
There you go.
Thank
you,
you
Dash
got my
Attack.
attention.
Then we've got the Walt Man who says, my mom's Filipina, and when I told her about this, she looked at me like the fact there will be slippers thrown at this point. I think that's just a mom thing in general, but yeah. So yeah, I think we're gonna start rolling things up here. You've got Toxic Tuesday coming up here in roughly 90 minutes, I think, Nick, right?
Yeah, around 90 minutes. South Park, bigger, longer, uncut, episode 51 of Toxic Tuesday. And speaking of Dash Attack, he will be on the panel with us as a guest talking about that movie. So it's going to be fun, and I can't wait to talk about it because
I should be there.
Well, and I look forward to having you, Tom. And the fact that we're actually doing a musical, a Toxic musical. This is going to be a fun one tonight. So thanks for having me, Tom. And nice to see you, Paulie, Script, Klobby, and chat. Thank you for being here, and shout out to the mods. And I hope to see as many of you all for Toxic Tuesday. I'll post the link in the chat. So thanks for having me, Tom.
Yeah, park up there. We'll be there soon. And then Massive Girth. What a name. What a name.
Then that eagle. Love it.
And then you got the icon on top of it, right?
Yeah.
Massive Girth. says the Jedi are celibate because George was going through a horrible divorce.
Mm.
Same for the guy that made the sidearm sacrifice his marriage for the octagon. LOL. Well, there might be some octogenarian. Octogenarian. Blech. As far as George going through divorce and that leading to that shit, well, a lot of that happened by the time like he was already deep into Return of the Jedi when his marriage was falling apart. But
the divorce was actually was finalized during production of Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so that was kind of when that kind of happened. But to me, the prequels, you can tell he's working a lot of shit out there. Like, to be honest. I mean, if you know some of the stuff about what really happened and then compare it to that, there's definitely some shit he's working out in those prequels, that's for sure.
And knowing him around him to say, "Hey, George, give another crack at this. I think you're in the right direction, but he needs some focus."
Well, you just got a little too personal with it, I guess, in one way.
It's too late at that point.
Yeah.
It's too late. I can't fix it now.
Oh my god, it's not really good.
I may have gone too far in a few places.
Not really good.
Just remember, you're not watching the movie. You're listening to the music.
One light flavors.
Mecha J says, just when you thought the Kenobi show made Obi-Wan a joke, they surprised us with this book to continue a trend. Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes. And I know, Six, you think the prequels are perfect in every way.
6.
You have that right.
Hey, 6.
Hola, 6.
I like Revenge of the Sith. It's not.
Did you say Revenge of the Sith?
But I enjoy it.
Revenge of the Sith.
No, I actually wish I did, but no. I enjoy Revenge of the Sith as a movie. I do enjoy it. It's got its flaws, but as a movie, I really do enjoy it. I have rewatched it many times.
We also have Cookies and Punch.
We did a rewatch right before Obi-Wan, and we had a great time watching it.
Did you figure out what the issue was? Why the Separatists wanted to separate?
I did a rewatch after the.
I just watched Revenge.
After I was traumatized by the first 2 episodes of Obi-Wan, I did a rewatch of the prequels, and it made me feel even better about the prequels. I've never hated them anyway, but
but yeah.
My respect to the Jedi are evil.
Well, then you are blind, Anakin.
And you are lost.
You will not take her.
I hate you.
That
you are lost.
Dialogue. It's like shut up and fight.
I have the high ground.
Oh, hello there.
You will not take her.
That's really rude when I'm dying. Don't care. I'm bi.
No, he's supposed to say goodbye.
And I'm goodbye.
As he strolls away.
You're just angry, Anakin, that you're not my type. Adios. I hate you.
There's so much I could say.
And your lightsaber. Eat it.
Oh, in case your kid might want this later. Now look, I got 2 of them.
You know how many lightsabers Mikey has? Jesus.
Too many.
Too many, yeah.
I've seen them all, and I've got hit by one.
Oh, man.
I've told you, Anakin, I'm bisexual. Liar! No, I've sucked quite a bit of cock. And banged quite a bit of pussy in my day.
But Master Qui-Gon, what are midichlorians?
You'll find out when you're older, son.
Oh, Lordy.
They'll make your penis grow.
But Master Yoda says I always should be mindful of the future, but not at the expense of the living force. My young
Here's a
Padawan.
secret. Master Yoda has a horrible gambling problem.
You'll see my Jedi rise.
But Master Yoda always comes in late at night.
In your room. This got dark real quick.
Master Yoda says I should be mindful of my saber. but not at the
Ugh.
expense of the living saber, my young Padawan.
Man, we all talk about big swords going on here.
Damn it, Beavis.
You talking about the prophecy of the child? That ain't fucking him. Get him the
You mean
fuck
the one
out
that
of
can
here.
bring balance to the force? I never thought he'd be white. They cut
It's
that
gotta be,
one.
of course, it's a white boy. What am I?
Of course, it's a white boy.
Look at me. Judge me by my size, do you?
Couldn't be a green brother. No, not a black brother. No, it's got to be a white boy. Savior of the universe. White savior of the universe.
This motherfucker. Don't get me started on the Spanish. Don't even get me
Also
started.
appropriating black into his outfits. Thinks he looks fly.
Look at the big brain on Anakin.
This is outrageous. How can I be on the council and not be a master? Because you're an asshole, dude. Sit down. Because you're Canadian. Sit the fuck down.
Because you're Canadian.
Wow.
Ouch. Because you're Canadian.
Lucky you're still alive.
You're not a real boy.
I wanted to kill you when I met you. Don't you be looking at me like that. I'll fuck you up.
Mace always knew there was something wrong with that boy.
Let me
wouldn't let him
come
kill
with,
him.
let me come with you, Master Windu. No. You told me that shit. I almost believe you. Now sit, just stay here and shut the fuck up, and I'll be right back. I'm gonna go kill this motherfucker. And then he
Can't
comes.
let you do that.
He should have said. He should have said when Anakin came in, "What the fuck are you doing here?"
That was the greatest movie ever. If he'd
Didn't
done
I
that.
tell you to stay your ass? Oh god.
Oh, Lord.
The Choco Taco, man. Did you guys hear about
When
the
you
Choco Taco?
absolutely
Dude, I actually
positively
have one in
gotta
my
kill
freezer.
every Sith in the room except no substitute.
Jedi motherfucker, do you speak it?
Yeah.
Dude. Hold on, they're canceling Choco
Midichlorians.
Taco?
That's not
Yeah,
I
they're-
never heard of.
They're killing it.
What? Why?
What?
Say
How do I
Coruscant
feel?
again.
It sucks.
Dude,
What?
I got one in my freezer right
They
now.
canceled the
I'm a
Choco
stupid bitch.
Taco.
Dude, you didn't come on now. You haven't heard about this
Who
yet?
did?
Fuckers.
What's a
Fuckers.
Choco Taco?
You never heard of
Choco
a Choco
Taco?
Taco?
No.
It is
Choco
God's
Taco.
greatest fucking invention
Here.
ever.
Dude,
Let me
it's
share.
so
Is
good.
it a sugar taco?
No, it's basically
Ice
an
That's
ice
sugar
cream
choco.
cone.
That's a
It's
sugar
basically
taco.
Oh, fuck
Since
you.
1983. Klondike confirmed after nearly 4 decades it's discontinuing the
Wow.
popular Choco
That's evil.
Taco.
They took this stupid thing called an ice cream cone that didn't really work when you tried to eat it. And they came up with the great idea of let's do that, but in the style of a taco, making it infinitely more edible. Boom! They took it away from us. Bastards. Of course,
You know-
Taco Bell quit selling them like
Oh,
I don't know how
nice.
many years ago. That's
Look
a
at Nick.
collector's item now.
Look at Nick.
I said I had one. Here's the receipt.
They used to
Dude.
sell those at Taco Bell too, man.
Tom, you
Dude,
talk
I-
about bringing the
yeah.
races together. I mean, that shit, tacos bring people
Bastards.
together, man.
Of course they do, because tacos
That's
rule.
literally how I
That's
celebrated my daughter's birthday
That's
party.
true.
We had tacos.
I want
for
to
her
taco.
party.
And then they stop what they're doing and they walk to a Taco Bell. That's kind of funny. Those commercials.
All right, since we lost half the audience already, let's get out of here, kids. Check out the Latino Slant. That's where Polly hangs out, as well as Midnight's Edge Espanol.
Yep.
Check out 32 Flavors and Nick Weiser. We're going to be over there talking on Toxic Tuesday in just a little bit about South Park, the movie. Check out Clobbering Times. You have shows every, like Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
tomorrow
Monday,
night.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday,
Wednesday,
Friday.
Thursday, Friday nights, not Friday night, Saturday night Star Trek, Monday nights, 4 nights a week.
Couple nights a week over at Clobby's and Script Doctor when he gets to it.
Yep.
And I have a movie night tonight. If anyone wants to stop
That's
on
right.
by, I'm playing the movie Mi Familia from 1995.
What about Me Familia?
You're invited. All you guys are invited. I invited all you guys, but
I have a prior engagement, but I'll try to stop by.
Nick is toxic, and there you go.
He's toxic.
I have not heard of that.
Well, what time does your movie start? In like 20 minutes?
20 minutes.
Okay, well you get a jump on Nick for an hour.
No, I'm not trying to. Yeah, I'm not trying to jump on. I'm not
Jump
trying
on
to
Nick
jump
for
on
an
that.
hour.
I know this is the gay hour, the gay stream.
You got a problem with gayness?
Yeah, I'm not gay.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
I don't believe you.
Oh, yes, Mi Familia. We're gonna be starring Jimmy Smits, Isai Morales, Jennifer
Smits.
Lopez.
When are we gonna do the 35th anniversary of La Bamba, motherfucker?
Yeah, man, let's do it.
We need to start holding Sony to the fucking flames in this bitch. Yes, Sadie, I tapped on the fucking table. Holy crap.
Oh, Sadie.
We need to start holding Sony accountable for this shit. They've been advertising this motherfucker. You can't get it on Blu-ray in the US.
You get to jump on Nick. Here we go.
Because they've never actually officially released it.
I'm gonna
outside of
jump on you,
Twilight
Nick, for an hour.
Time, which was like a very limited release. So you can't get it for less than like $100.
Wow.
You know, hey, remember when you had your phone call shit the other day? You're doing your phone calls.
I do them every day. Why?
No, you had to call in.
Your
You call
phone
in.
thing.
All right,
Oh,
here-
my call-in thing. Yeah.
Okay, so just pretend that I'm calling in. Please
Hi.
go ahead. Brrring,
What do you want?
brrring.
What do you want?
First
First,
time calling.
first, I'm gonna take off your shoes. Then I'm gonna take off your socks. Phew, phew, phew.
You totally fucked that up. That's
I
all right.
did fuck it up. I was like, what does this start with?
He starts up higher.
Oh, he starts with the pants.
Yeah, then I'm gonna take off your shoes. Ooh.
Right.
You got to be able to see it too, because the guy sees.
How can you take off your pants before your shoes? That makes no fucking sense.
Maybe he says
First,
shirt.
I'm
First, I
gonna
don't
take off your
remember.
Man,
pants.
I'm getting warm in here hearing this.
Maybe
I'm
it was
jumping on you
shirt.
for an
I don't
hour, Nick.
remember.
Okay.
It's a scene
I
from
need the
Cheech and
Latino
Chong.
slant.
That's my
It's
slam,
from
baby.
Cheech and Chong.
Cheech and Chong.
It is indeed. And with that,
Okay.
let us bid adieu. Karate with infinite patience.
The fuck?